exploiting XXE using external entities to retrieve file. So as you can see in the lab, what is our challenge? This lab has a check stock feature that parse the XML input and returns an unexpected value in the response. So what we understood from this, that this particular lab has a check stock feature where we can insert any kind of data, or we can see what server is responding it to. So let's get started. And to solve the lab, we need to inject an XML external entity to retrieve contents like etc password, that is a password file. So now let's access the app and okay. So our main goal over here is to exploit an XXE using external entities to retrieve files. So this is our main goal. So as we understood, this lab has a check stock feature which parse the XML input. So let's find where the check stock input is. See over here. So as you can see, there is a input field check stock which parse the XML data as it said in the lab itself. So once we click on it, there is a data or a unit which is getting reflected. So now let's intercept this request using burp suite and try to exploit this vulnerability. So let's get. As you can see, there is a post request which is generated while intercepting the request. So what we have in this request exactly, there is an XML document which is getting transmitted where there is a stock check, product ID and stored ID elements used. So let's send it to the repeater for further exploitation. So as you see, this is the exact value which was getting reflected when we tried to check the input field. So let's think, can we insert any kind of we can insert an external entity and retrieve some data or not. So let's first check, is this field. We will confirm the vulnerability by inserting an internal entity first to check whether it is allowing entities to be declared or not. Let's see. So you can see we have declared a doc type, or you can say DTD doc type over here. This is where we have declared our entity, that is XXE, and then in XXE we have stored a variable, or you can say some data like hello hacker. So let's call this and see if it works. So as you can see in the response, there is an invalid product ID as we changed it, but our internal entities got reflected. So this confirms that this particular input is accepting entities. Now for further exploitation, our main thing is declaring an external entity and retrieving sensitive files from the server. That was etc password. So let's do it. So to retrieve the file, as I said, we need to add a system keyword which will locate that file from the server. So whatever we want to retrieve, right? Let's send the request and check. So see, as you can see, we are successfully able to retrieve sensitive information from the server, that is the etc password, the every password file from the server itself. So how we did that? By using the external entities and giving it as a system keyword to extract exact file path from where this file is stored. So this is how an external entity works. But in some cases this is just a normal thing that it happens, like the file is getting dumped or we are able to extract sensitive data. But in some cases entities are not allowed. So what we can do with this means I am not able to retrieve any sensitive information directly from the server. So now what we can do? So in this case there is another exploit which comes into picture, that is an out of band attack. So what exactly is an out of band attack? So as you can see, we have completed this lab. Great.
Okay, so on this lab, I think I can add one more point here, that as Athar mentioned that using this vulnerability, he just retrieved the etc password file. I'm pretty sure this XML I would say technology, or this XML
structure format.
Yeah, basically this XML, I would say, technology for data transmitter is used by lots of web applications.
Yeah.
So maybe we can, using this vulnerability, we can pull out the source code of those files,
Yeah.
of the development code that has them. I think we can do that as well, right?
Yes. On not only in web applications but all the application part. For example, in some cases I have found these vulnerabilities in some desktop applications as well.
Okay.
In some web applications as well. So not limited to web but multiple AppSec portions it covers.
So on that note, another question I have is that how often this vulnerability, how popular is this vulnerability, or how often do you find it in your engagements?
As you said earlier, most of the data, means most of the thing has been changed to JSON.
Okay.
So this is kind of a traditional thing which used to happen. No doubt we still can able to find this vulnerability. I would like to share one of the incident. So in that, the data was getting transmitted in JSON format, the content type and everything was perfect. So what I did, I changed the content type to text XML, and I made that JSON into an XML format and saw if the server is accepting XML data or not. And yeah, it did.
Yeah. So I can add one more example on that as well, because I was working as a software developer in my previous company. So there in the code base they were regularly using JSON in addition to XML as well.
Yeah.
Because we are interacting with devices, and those devices, some of the older devices did not supported JSON format.
Yeah.
So for those, the same code needs to parse the JSON as well as the XML depending on the device.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we can find this as well. So yeah.
So this is a great vulnerability to start with.